He had been thinking about his own memorial service for 5 years. Not morbidly, not with fear, with the same precision and intention he brought to every concert program he ever built. Because Michael Tilson Thomas, the man who conducted nearly 1,800 concerts across a 52-year relationship with the San Francisco Symphony, who won 12 Grammy Awards, who helped more young musicians find their voice than almost any conductor of his generation, was not going to leave the final program to chance. Michael Tilson Thomas died at home on April 22, 2026, surrounded by family and friends. He was 81. In 2021, he was diagnosed with Glioblastoma Multiforme, an aggressive type of brain cancer. Through his illness, he continued to make music. And now, as the classical music world, the city of San Francisco, and a global community of musicians and listeners prepare to say goodbye, the memorial being planned in his honor is revealing something that his public career never fully broadcast: the hidden influence, the unseen legacy, the thing that everyone who actually sat in a rehearsal room with him says was the real gift, the one that never made the Grammy citations but that changed everything about how music is made in America. In 2022, he told an interviewer he had been taking bucket list trips with family and friends, organizing 60 years worth of personal journals, and contemplating the music he wanted played at his memorial service. Even in a situation where the time is short, whether in rehearsal or in life, you can accept and forgive yourself, he said. You can say, I had this much time and this is what I could accomplish. And that's fine. I am at peace with it. I am at peace with it. From a man sitting with a terminal diagnosis, organizing 60 years of journals, choosing his own memorial music, those words are not resignation. They are the philosophy of a person who spent his entire life in service to something larger than himself, and who had made peace with the fact that the music would keep going after he stopped conducting it. The San Francisco Symphony announced that the June 18, 20, and 21 performances of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony will be dedicated to Michael Tilson Thomas. Plans for a special concert in celebration of his life and lasting impact will be shared at a later date. Beethoven's Ninth, the symphony that ends with the Ode to Joy, a choral finale built around the radical idea, written by a composer who was completely deaf when he wrote it, that joy is possible even through suffering, that humanity is worth celebrating, that the right response to the weight of existence is not despair but music. He would have chosen that himself. Now let's talk about the hidden influence. Because what is emerging at the memorial, in the statements from musicians, from administrators, from the people who sat in his rehearsals and watched him work, is a portrait of a man whose impact ran far deeper than any recording or Grammy or concert review ever captured. At an after-party following his final concert in April 2025, friends and colleagues gathered over blue frosted cupcakes. A former symphony employee, speaking about what it was like to work for him, said, "We all have the same story, which is that Michael helped us see what music can do for the world. We all have the same story." That sentence is the hidden influence in 4 words. Not, he taught me how to play. Not, he gave me a career opportunity. He helped us see what music can do for the world. That is a different kind of teaching. That is a man who was not just passing on technique, he was passing on a philosophy, a way of understanding what the whole enterprise is for. Off the podium, he revealed warmth, wit, and a generosity of spirit that made getting to know him as a friend an unexpected gift. MTT didn't just lead the symphony, he became part of the cultural fabric of San Francisco itself, expanding what it meant to be an orchestra in a city like ours. His impact reached far beyond the concert hall, touching the life of the city in ways both visible and deeply personal. Expanding what it meant to be an orchestra, that is the unseen legacy. Because Michael Tilson Thomas did not arrive in San Francisco and simply conduct the repertoire that was handed to him. He reimagined what the institution was supposed to do. He launched SFS Media, the symphony's own recording label. He created Keeping Score, a music education series that turned the symphony into a classroom for the entire country. He built an experience around classical music that made people who had never set foot in a concert hall feel like it was made for them. But wait, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a room where someone was teaching, really teaching, and felt something shift? Not just in what you understood, but in how you understood yourself in relation to it. That is what the musicians who played under Michael Tilson Thomas describe over and over. Not that he told them what to do, but that he showed them how to listen, how to hear music, and through music, how to hear the world differently than they had before. A longtime friend watching his decline said, "It was like some great library being burned. All this music within him would be gone." A library, not a performer, not a conductor, a library. Because what Michael Tilson Thomas carried in his mind, the 60 years of journals, the musical knowledge accumulated across a career that stretched from his debut as a teenager to his final concert at 80, was not just personal memory. It was a living archive of American and European classical music, held and interpreted and transmitted by a single extraordinary human being. And he spent the last 5 years of his life trying to give as much of it away as possible. His final concert in April 2025 was conducted with his husband assisting him on stage. He performed an impressively high-energy program. At the end, hundreds of balloons rained down from the ceiling in his signature blue as a tear-stained crowd gave him his final standing ovation. His signature blue, the color that became synonymous with him in San Francisco. The balloons falling from the ceiling, not as a gimmick, but as the physical manifestation of joy, as hundreds of people who had watched this man conduct for decades stood and cried and clapped and refused to let him walk off that stage without knowing how much he had meant. The London Symphony Orchestra noted that when he first conducted the LSO in 1970, he stepped in at the last minute for another conductor. His arrival brought a renaissance for the orchestra. His style of leadership was to devote himself totally to the organization and its musicians, building musical and personal relationships which were to last a lifetime. Devote himself totally. That phrase appears again and again in every tribute from every institution he ever worked with. The San Francisco Symphony, the London Symphony Orchestra, the New World Symphony, which he co-founded specifically to train young musicians, the New York Philharmonic, Carnegie Hall, the BBC, PBS. Every institution says the same thing. He did not show up to perform, he showed up to give. He was a 12-time Grammy Award winner with a discography of more than 120 recordings. He was an Officier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres of France, a member of the American Academies of Arts and Sciences and Arts and Letters, a National Medal of Arts recipient, and a 2019 Kennedy Center honoree. 12 Grammys, 120 recordings, 1,800 concerts with the San Francisco Symphony alone, a Kennedy Center honor, a French Arts distinction, a brain cancer diagnosis in 2021 that he responded to by organizing 60 years of journals and choosing the music for his own memorial, and a former employee at an after-party with blue frosted cupcakes, saying the most important thing of all: he helped us see what music can do for the world. That is the unseen tribute, the hidden influence, the legacy that no Grammy citation will ever fully capture, because it lives not on a shelf or a streaming platform, but inside the musicians, the administrators, the audience members, the young people who went through the New World Symphony program and came out the other side knowing something they did not know before. What music can do for the world. His legacy lives on at the San Francisco Symphony and in the music, the memories, and the community he helped shape. And in June, when Beethoven's Ninth fills Davies Symphony Hall and the Ode to Joy rises to the ceiling, all of that will be in the room, invisible and everywhere. Rest well, Michael Tilson Thomas, 1944, April 22, 2026. Thank you for watching.